What's up, shiftyestribe? We are wrapping up our month of feedback, and to end here, there's two things I want to kind of talk about that came from questions or conversations with tribe members around this topic that I think are great. So the first one is, what about when feedback is not safe? What if you have a leader who you're afraid to give feedback to, etc., which is a very real thing in the workplace. And there's a couple aspects of that. One, if you are a leader going to your people asking for feedback, it's super important that you let them know that you're here earnestly, right, in service of your own growth and your own improvement and being a better leader. So it's okay to be honest and tell me what you really think, and prove it. Do not retaliate against people. Let them share their experience with you, whether you agree with it or not. And the other side of that is you might be the employee in that situation where your boss has a history of retaliating or being terrible. Quit your job, but also if you're going to stay, use some discretion. It may not be safe to give feedback. Some people are not emotionally mature enough to hear feedback, and don't put yourself in a dangerous situation that way. But hopefully you do not work in a toxic place like that, because it's torturous. The second topic I want to address is, what about when feedback is upsetting? If you get feedback that you totally disagree with, that pisses you off, that is annoying, how do you sort of deal with that productively? And I think it's important to remember that the moment that you're getting feedback from somebody is not necessarily the moment that you have to respond to that person about that feedback. And it's okay to say, hey, I want to take some time here to process what you said and digest this and think about it and stew on it a little bit. So can we circle back tomorrow or at the end of the day and have more of a conversation around this, just to give me some time to reflect and hear what you've said, I think is really useful. And while you're getting feedback is also not the time to defend or deflect or justify or prove that person wrong. There is a time just to listen and say, I hear you, thank you for sharing, that's great, and move forward. Because whether you disagree with something or not, it is still that person's experience, it's their perspective, and right or wrong to you, it's true to them. So recognize and acknowledge and value that. In a culture of feedback, it's we want to hear what other people's experiences are, even if we disagree with them, because it shows us that there's an opportunity there to improve that perception or this person's experience with me. Another part of that, if you're taking some time to cool off, I don't know how many times in my life that I have responded to something that made me angry or whatever in a way that was not at all productive. And just by taking a couple hours or the next day, I can look at that situation and be I caused so much more damage by responding to this while I was emotionally triggered by something. And if I had just waited, I could have said this, or I could have responded in a more productive way. It's so important to do that. Take some time. And in that process, empty your cup with somebody else. Find someone else that's neutral that you can just say, hey, that really pissed me off. Share how you feel and get to kind of unload a little bit, so that you can do that with somebody else and not with the person that you're sort of having this issue with or that you've received the feedback with. That way, by the time you go back to them, you have more time to process and digest out loud with somebody else and with yourself, so that when you go back to that person and have a conversation, it is more productive and it's just more conducive of people being able to listen and respond. Yeah, those are both, I think, important topics